I tell them, you got to get the work done in 40 hours. We actually don't like when you work more than 40 hours.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You work 50, 60, 70 hours, you'll do that for a year. Then you'll be seeking another job.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of the people we interviewed lately, they come from these different firms or bigger firms where they go like, look, I'll take a pay cut, but I just want to work for you.
All right, today we have Eduardo Ayala Maura here from Ayala Law Firm down in Miami. He is a business litigator, phenomenal businessman. He does business litigation, commercial litigation. He's a trial lawyer. You got to listen to this podcast because we're going to be talking about a phenomenal story about how he grew up in Peru and then how he came to the United States, went to law school in his young 30s and is crushing it now in his business. He's going to talk to you about how you can grow your law firm, how you can expand it, the key books that you need to read to become a great business owner. Don't miss this episode.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
I was with another law firm for 11 years. And so I didn't do any of this, really very, very little social media. Maybe I post on LinkedIn. I had no Instagram, had no TikTok. And then when COVID hit, I had just left my other law firm to open my own firm. And I had no cases. And so it was I opened the firm January 2020, March, COVID hit, world shut down. I had no cases and I had to figure out how am I going to grow the business. And it always social media kind of intrigued me. And so I used that whole summer just to watch YouTube videos and how to make YouTube videos. And I bought the equipment, I bought the lighting, the microphones, the cameras, and then started just recording and cutting it up myself at home. And I mean, it's so funny because you can go back to the original, very, very beginning videos, and I look it's terrible. It's so bad, but you got to start somewhere,
You get better.
Do you use social media for your firm?
We do. We post, probably daily. One piece of content or another. I make two reels in Spanish, 2 reels in English every week. So 4 videos. I record them all in one shot. And then we started recently, about 6 months ago, doing long form in YouTube to grow that channel.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So 7 to 10 minutes,
Yeah.
And I see it as a necessary evil. I don't like doing it, but so at one point, I think in Q3 of last year, we go what? This video takes time. And we we're not gonna do video for a quarter. And we also stopped because we boost some videos, we spent some advertising dollars. And then we go and then our leads number went down in the next quarter. And we go well, what is the one thing we stopped doing? Social media. So we gotta go back. So it's just you gotta do it. It's a combination of branding and leads that you don't know where the leads come from necessarily, right?
Yeah.
And then you get someone that watches a video and then gets asked about your service, but this one watched the video and told, I saw this guy in, you know what I mean? It's a web that you don't know how it works, but that it works.
See, I love that you brought that up because so many people don't realize that they always ask me, Eric, what's the return on your investment for social media? Because I do spend a lot of time. It's not a crazy amount of time, but I love doing the podcast. I love cutting up videos and doing content. And they're are you getting leads? Are you getting cases? And the truth is, I'm I know for sure, yes. But can I quantify and say I got, this ROI or, you know what I mean? You can't do it because you said, there's so much happening, right? Some people are talking about it and then, like you said, a person may not have seen the video, but another person did, and then they mention your name. And when they get to your door, they may not have, they don't know that it was the social media in the beginning that got them here,
Yeah, and then you have, I had a lawyer that saw my video, and then somebody came to him for a traffic ticket, and then asked for a business lawyer. Look, I don't know anybody, but I've seen this guy. Look him up. So the guy came from the lawyer sees me, then somebody contacts him, then tells him to look him up. The person looks me up on Google, then looks me up in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT tells him about me.
Yep.
So the whole web that you don't know how it is. I was asked by a recent immigration lawyer that's trying to advertise more because the business has shrunk because of the environment, right?
Yeah.
And all what's happening, and she wants to advertise more, and I go but how does it work? And is there leads? And I go look, we don't know exactly, but I know for a fact that having more followers is better than having less followers.
Yeah.
having more videos out there is better than having less videos. Having more impressions is better than, you know what? It's just, that's the only thing from what I see that you know for sure.
Yeah, and definitely like organic followers, like the ones that like you can go out and you can buy and you can make your page kind of look like it has a whole bunch, which I mean may give like someone who's coming to your page like a little bit of a perceived like, oh, this person has a lot of followers and maybe they'll add you, which could be good, but like you really want those organic people, the people that are interested in your topic, you know what I mean, or what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because those people, again, they're going to ultimately remember you if something happens, if they have a business dispute or in my case, personal injury case. I also see, and I don't know if you see this also with social media, but it's like you stay top of mind with people who you may not otherwise be able to speak to or talk to all the time, you know, like stay in touch with, like friends, people from law school, things like that. Like I can pinpoint some of my biggest cases that have come from another lawyer who I hadn't talked to for a long time, but like a day before, 2 days before, they had like liked a video, they did something, they commented on a video, and then all of a sudden something came to their doorstep, a case, and they referred it to me. And it's like, I wouldn't have otherwise talked, like I wouldn't have been in touch with them, you know?
100%. It happens to me too. And they come and tell me, I mean, former classmates or people that you know but haven't spoken in 7 years, and they all of a sudden come talk to me, hey, I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're doing so well. So they've been following for a while.
Yeah.
So you've been in their minds constantly because of whether it is the newsletter, the postings, and yes, it's you know, it's the name of the game today. You have to stay top of mind. I mean, I believe in branding. I believe in, you know, building your brand, and without that, you know, at least in what I do, you know, it's very like commoditized, right? It's just like
Sure.
how do they differentiate? It's like the bankers. I see it. Bankers, you go to Bank of America, to City National. I mean, it's money at, you know, give or take 0.25. You change from one to the other because of the personal brand that banker built that takes a book of business. I tell all my lawyers, you guys got to build your own brand within the Ayala umbrella. That's how clients are going to follow us.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So tell me, like, just tell me the name of your law firm and the type of cases that you guys handle.
My law firm is called Ayala Law, PA. We are a business litigation firm. We do litigation, trials, appeals on business cases. I like to explain it because a lot of people don't know what business litigation is.
Sure.
It's essentially disputes between businesses. So a business had a contract with another business for $100,000 of supplies, and then the other business didn't send the supplies. So we sue them, or the reverse is true. Somebody didn't get paid, or somebody gets sued for not making a payment, and we defend these business owners. We deal with a lot of partnership disputes and splits. You know, partnerships that went wrong. They wanna, you know, get rid of a partner. One partner is like abusing the company finances and, you know, using the company for, you know, private jet flights and a lot of personal stuff that ends up, deflating all the profits of the business. And the more passive partner usually doesn't make any money. So he's unhappy. He wants to sue, breach of fiduciary duties, breach of contracts, partnership agreements. A lot of real estate involved in what we do too. So at least in Miami, I mean, 90% of real estate is owned by some LLC. So there's usually dispute as to the investors that bought the real estate.
Yeah.
You know, the investment was not good. It's not making money. They disagree. I want my money back. You know, some lawsuit comes out of that. So that's generally what we do.
Yeah, and then I know that like do you focus on like the Latin American community? Is that like one of your primary focuses, or kind of has it expanded? Because I know I read, you know, some stuff on your profile.
Yeah, we are very big in the South American market. I have clients from Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala. I was in Nicaragua last week, invited by a client that we won his case. Colombia, Argentina. So I am from Peru, so I have a bunch of clients from Peru, and the connection business-wise between Miami and all of the main cities in South America and Central America is huge.
Yeah.
So it's a very good market for us. I'd say, I mean, I don't have the exact number, but at least 40 or 50% of our clients are South American. So it's a very big chunk of our business.
Where are you located? Where's your office at?
Miami.
You're in Miami.
Coral Gables.
Okay. All right. That's a
Yeah.
great location too.
Yeah.
Little crowded. You know, like the traffic can be. You know?
Yeah. But we have our own, 4 or 5 years ago during COVID bought a building, and I make everybody go work to the office because we make that investment, you know.
Sure, of course.
And it's been working good. So we've been growing in that location, and so far we have space, and we're not thinking about another location. So we're good there in Coral Gables.
You have like a incredible story, like the background story, like being raised in Peru, and you became a lawyer later in life. And I'm not like super later in life, but like your story shows that like you don't have to go to college and come right out at 22 years old and go right into law school, you know, and then get it done. Like you did it a little bit later, and you've grown a phenomenal business. So tell me like a little bit about like you grew up in Peru, and then tell me like that transition into when you decided to go into law.
Thank you, appreciate it. So I was born in Peru. I was there all the way until I was 25 years old. Before I was 25, for 8 years, I was a religious person, like a priest type of life. I was a consecrated person for 8 years, you know, celibacy and all of that in the Catholic Church. So when I transitioned away from that life, you know, I don't come from money. I had no connections, no degree, no. So I stayed 6 months in my city, Lima, and I found no job, and I just came to the U.S., you know, as a regular immigrant.
And how much money did you have in your pocket when you got to the United States?
It was $400, yeah. And when I landed, I got detained by ICE for like 8 hours because they thought rightfully that I was going to stay in the country. You know?
Yeah.
And I was trying to present I wasn't. But, you know, finally, when I was detained for like 8 hours, I was like, look, you know, I have a visa, a tourist visa. You know, it's a valid visa. You either let me go or send me back.
Yeah.
Because I was like sick of being eight hours in a room. And they let me go. They let me in to the country. So I came out of the airport, and I don't speak English. I go like, you know, all the signs, everything is so big. This was the Orlando airport.
Sure.
And so I just take a yellow car, a taxi, and the taxi was like 40. I told me to a hotel because I had been 8 hours there, and I had to take the train to Boca Raton, where I was gonna go to see someone that was gonna give me lodge. And the taxi was like $40. The hotel was $140. And so right off the bat, half of my money was gone.
Oh man.
So, but I went to this guy that I had spoken back then. I don't know how old you are, but back then you didn't have the internet or phones. So you go to these internet cafes and the Yahoo and Hotmail chats. So in the Hotmail chats or the Yahoo chat, I met a guy that was Peruvian, was living in Boca Raton, and he told me, hey, I told him that I had interest in coming in. And he told me, yeah, you come in. I mean, you can stay with me, and as soon as you find a job, you just pay me, you know, to be my roommate. So that's how I started. That was back in 2002.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like when you were in Peru though, you took courses and stuff at a college, right? And like you had college level courses that were you able to use those to go back to school in the States?
Yes. So in this religious community, I studied theology and philosophy. I never completed a degree, but I did have a bunch of credits. So, So I stayed undocumented for around 3.5 years. Then once I got my first work permit, like I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted to go back to school because I've always liked school. I come from philosophy, theology. You know, I like to read. So I figured out, how do I go to school? And first, what do I study? Right? I'm not gonna go study philosophy. I didn't want to be like poor again.
Yeah, philosopher.
Know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was doing a job at a law firm back then, scanning documents.
Yeah.
So I was scanning documents all day, and it was the most boring job ever. It was a PI firm. The guy had like 70 employees, a bunch of lawyers. He was doing very well, and was so bored. The job was so boring that I would read the documents. And I go, I can do this, you know.
Yeah.
And I started to find out what would it take to go back to law school. I was 29 already, and then I go like, I need to get a bachelor's degree. So it's like the bachelor's 4 years, 3 years, 29. I go like, so I got a job at FIU at the campus and fixing locks. I was a locksmith fixing locks, and then I started going to the admission office for them to guide me how to go about getting a bachelor's degree. And they told me, hey, if you study in your country, you can bring those credits, bring it to this institution, validate them, translate them, and then we'll see how many we can account for towards a bachelor's degree, which is 120 credits. So they ended up accounting for 90 of my credits. So I only had to do 30 more plus the requirements. So like 40, 45 credits, basically a year and a semester. So in a year and a semester, I got a degree in philosophy, and I did the LSAT, then I did the admission process, and I was accepted to FIU.
You know, it's like really like phenomenal work. You know what I mean? Like to think about like it's to think what you did, and there's so many people that have like these blocks, right? They have like this thing that stops them from taking that next step. But like you sound like you're like a person that has that drive, right? Where you're going to figure out what's the next step, and then you're going to ask the questions, and then you're going to actually execute on it. You know what I mean? That drive, like, is that drive you think that like everyone has, or just some people they can't do it? Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I've always been. I'm a believer as a life philosophy in work.
Yeah.
I believe work provides meaning. I believe work makes you a very human. Any work. So I've always liked to work. Now I've made a bunch of very risky decisions. I mean, I could have easily been sent back to
Sure.
Peru. I didn't know what I was doing. I came with just one flight, no return ticket. A 25-year-old, that's ripe age for immigration, right? Immigrating.
Yeah.
So, but I got lucky and I got in. Things could have been much different. Then, I did the law school thing, and I actually had to take the LSAT twice.
Yeah.
Because my English in 2006, 7 wasn't as good as it is today.
Yeah.
Right. So the LSAT it's a speed exam.
Yeah, and it's
So
complicated too. A lot of reading.
Correct. So, but you have to read fast, and I was a very slow reader back then. So I had to take it twice because the only school I wanted to go to was FIU, because that's where it was my main job, my full-time job, fixing locks.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be there, work there, and do law school there. So, things work out. I don't take pride of being anything exceptional. I do take pride of working hard, being persistent, and that's why I try to encourage now my employees. I'm sure you are the same. I follow what you do. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think.
And when you got out of law school, did you want to go into business litigation, or was there a path to get to you opening your own law firm?
So that's a great question, because when I got out of law school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So even through law school, I wasn't I wasn't crazy about the law. But I was like, I'm 34, 35. I was just gonna stick to this. I'll stick to this because this is a good degree. I didn't know. I've always been the kind of guy that I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come from religion. Then here I had a small restaurant before going to law school, business. Then I have like 13 jobs. And so in law school, I go like, okay, no, Eduardo, just focus, finish this up. And then, nothing bad can come from you having a Juris Doctor degree, right?
Sure.
Then I passed the bar. Then I could just get a job. I didn't like the job. I didn't like how I was treated by my former employers. Then I worked for an insurance defense firm. I hated it. I didn't like the way insurance companies behave. So I go like, look, let me start on my own and see what it takes me. And then I basically try to build a firm, and I tell that to my employees today. The one of the big values of my firm is to create a work environment where people don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like so many people hate where they go to work. Like I gotta go to work, and they dread making the drive. And so to create an environment that really provides like a work home of sorts, because that's what the firm is to me up to today, and that's what I try to create. And thankfully it worked, because it's a combination of creating that good environment, also making it profitable, right?
Yeah.
Making money is hard, so
Yeah.
it's trying to create that balance, and I think we've managed to do it.
I love that you brought up the idea of like that work environment, right? It is critically important. I mean, there's so many people, there's so many lawyers that are they're overworked, I feel undervalued, they don't look forward to going to their job. And I think it's critical to create that environment where, and again, we're in, like, I hate using the word work-life balance, but creating a place where they do feel valued, right? That they are rewarded for hard work, and that also it's an environment where like you look forward to seeing the people that you're working with. You know, like it's never a good thing when you have like a toxic person on the team. You know, and I've seen over time where like the firm will, those people kind of weed themselves out. Do you know what I mean? And it's not the right work environment for them. You know, where, you know, whether it's gossip or whether it's something else, and like, because that, once you start creating that like friction in the workplace, it's not good for anybody. You know.
No, and I take pride and I love when I see, you know, my team, they play pickleball on Sundays. You know, on the break they made a party in somebody else's home and they get together. They go clubbing. I mean, they hang out together.
Yeah, I love
outside
that.
of work, right?
Yeah.
Not with me because I'm, you know, I got an age gap and they're younger than me.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to create a culture of like, no assholes in this firm.
Yeah.
Like, no, everybody's nice to each other. And then business is tough. You know, the profession it's basically demanding intellectually. Intellectual work is stressful, and I try to hire people that strike the right balance between a good productivity output in terms of their capacity and then their ability to fit in our environment, because I tell them, you got to get the work done in 40 hours. We actually don't like when you work more than 40 hours.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, you work 50, 60, 70 hours, you'll do that for a year. Then you'll be seeking another job.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of the people we interviewed lately, they come from these different firms or bigger firms where they go like, look, I'll take a pay cut, but I just want to work 40 hours.
Yeah.
We give them the PTO. So now, we got to achieve a lot in 40 hours, but it also feels like me as the leader of the firm gives me a little bit of sort of like a moral authority to, you know, be tough on them during the 40 hours.
Sure.
Because after 5 or after 5:30, whenever you leave, I don't bother you, right?
Yeah.
On the weekends, I don't bother you.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. Having that, like,
You
you know,
know.
hey, listen, when we're here. I'm
Yeah.
giving you the 40 hours, but yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, that's how I say that to everybody in the office. It's like, because the hours are 8:30 to 5:30, and it's like 5:30 hits. Like, I want you at, like, go get home, do your thing. You know what I mean? And because I think that, like, unless it's an emergency, you can wait till tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah.
Do everything that you possibly could do, but you don't have to stay extra late to try to get something done that could be done tomorrow morning.
Same.
Right? You're not like procrastinating, you know what I mean? Unless it's an emergency, you know? And I think it's more rare unless like we're going into trial, you know, like trial may change the dynamic of hours a little bit. Only because I'm used to, like, I came from the school, like I was raised in a firm where I worked 70, 80 hours. You know what I mean? I was working a lot and was through the weekends, late nights, but I also enjoyed that. You know what I mean? Like, it almost like I felt like I always had an edge over whoever I was going up against by putting in the time, you know, and like showing up early, staying late, working through the weekends. But eventually, like you said, it can lead to, you're going to burn out eventually. You know what I mean? And then it's going to impact, like, you're going to start seeing things like in your own personal life where it's impacting like family or vacations and you're missing things, you know? And it's like, I had the realization later on after, you know, 12 years of practicing where, you know, I started missing things, you know what I mean? And missing time with my kids and family and missing dinners and stuff like that. And eventually it was like, you know what? Something needs to change, you know what I mean? Because it's just not sustainable.
Yeah. I try to do no more than 50. I've also historically been like a 60 hours, 70 hours, but I lately in the past 2 years or maybe a little more, 50 is a good balance to me. 40 is on the lower end. I can work 50 and not be burnt out or like it's a good balance for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you, like, you jumped out of law school, very, you know, early baby lawyer, right? You're a little bit older, but baby lawyer. And you do a little bit of work at a commercial litigation firm. You do a little bit of work in insurance. How in the world did you open up your own law firm and then grow it? How did you do that?
Well, it's not something I'm proud of. I don't think I should have done it.
Yeah.
My law firm has grown dramatically in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So I've been 12 years at this, so, or maybe 13. Yeah, this will be the 13th years. So at the beginning, you know, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I'll say it straight up because right now, on experience, I see other lawyer friends that are starting, and I tell them, no, do this, do that, sort of mentor them. But an immigration law firm, a consumer protection law firm, an illegal towing law firm, a class action law firm, a business law firm, a transaction law, a real estate. I've had in 7 or 8 years a bunch of law firms in one.
Yeah.
So I thought that should take anything that comes through the door. I thought that I should do it took me so long to realize, hey, if you are doing less work, it's better.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're focusing on vision, on policies, on things that have an impact not on one case, but on 100 cases, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
So it took me a long time to realize, and that has to be with me being very stubborn, and I should have reached to coaches or mentors. I've never had one of those.
Yeah.
And it's basically been trial and error. And so there was a point where I read this book. Maybe you've read it. It's called Traction.
Okay.
In 2023.
Yep. Gino
yeah.
Whitman or something like that.
Yeah. It's the EOS system. And
yep.
I go so I've always been a guy that, no, I'm a lawyer. I'm a trial lawyer. So I also like appeals. I like to write.
Yeah.
I like jurisprudence and all of that. Business knowledge. Like, what is that? Sort of like disdain that type of knowledge. And then I ran into that book and I read it and I go like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. It was like an awakening for me.
Yeah.
This is 2023. So we're talking about 3 years ago.
Wow.
And I go, I don't know what I'm doing. And I go like, I got to get serious about this. So from that, all I did was read business books. And this is 2023. I had already done, more than a dozen jury trials, which is a lot for business litigation.
Sure,
we don't get many of those. Way more like trials. I had already experienced a lot, and I thought that I had a consolidated product, right? What I sell to the market, and myself also consolidated as a trial lawyer. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right? After 14 years, so I started focusing on business books, reading that, and implementing that. I did my plan, and then, we grew from 2023 to 2024. 40%.
Yeah.
From 2024 to 2025, another 40%, and then from 2025 to 2026, we're targeting 50. We're being even more ambitious, right?
Yeah.
So it's being, learning and creating a vision, a program, and then executing on it. KPIs. Everybody has a number. Everyone. I don't care who you are. We establish what should be the metrics for this position.
Yeah.
And then being accountable week over week, measuring these items. We've gotten, doing this so much, we got the formula for our lawyers of what makes a lawyer profitable, and that where is that line that you have to exceed for me to give you a raise. And we tell them, look, you want a raise? Okay, here's your metrics.
Yeah.
We also figure out a formula where we give him incentives on sales, which basically multiplies me. Right now we got six more lawyers selling.
Yeah.
And we're creating partnership tracks. Now I have 2 small partnerships, which are like my long timers. I have a guy who's with me for 9 years, another one for 6 years. So it's been little by little, trial and error.
And you never had a coach or anything. You just had the book, and then you executed on the book. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Pretty much. I try to join a program called CRISP. I don't know if you heard about it. But I went to some meetings and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't say this with pride, but historically I've been a little uncoachable.
Yeah.
I'm that guy that thinks that I can figure everything out.
Yeah.
That has pros and cons, which is, maybe things that I could have learned in 3 years, I've learned in 7 because I just hit the wall and learned through the mistakes, right?
Sure.
But maybe through a coach it would have been faster. But I implemented on Traction. If we do our ROCKS program. We have our Vision Traction Organizer.
Yeah.
Every quarter we just have one in January, I think 6 or 7. When we all came back from the break, we have these meetings that I call the State of the Union.
Yeah.
So I basically meet everybody, and we have a big room, and I tell them, okay, this is how we did in Q4 of 2025.
Yeah.
This is what we're planning for Q1 of 2026. This is our goal for the year. This is what we need to do. we have our 5 core values for the firm. This is what, so we have one employee always like wins the award for living the core value
Got
of
it.
that quarter,
Yeah.
and we give him a prize. Sometimes it's $100 or something like that, right? So, and then so I always try to also include in that presentation or that meeting some sort of like a personal development type of component.
Yeah.
I've been lately we focus on sleep.
Sleep
On
is good.
on
It's
s-
critical.
On
Yeah.
sleeping better, right? 7-8 hours. I have my app here that
Yeah.
tracks it. So I teach him, look, performance matters. If you come to work with like 3 hours of sleep, you might as well not come to the office.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna perform well. So it's a meeting that we do, and then we track the metrics.
I love that. I love everything you're saying, and it's so funny because there's a guy, Jim Rohn. I don't know if you ever listened to Jim Rohn before. He's like a famous, self motivational kind of speaker and self improvement kind of guy, and he talks about how you have all these books, and like one book can probably save you thousands of hours of time if you just read that one book in achieving whatever goal it is that you want to get. You know what I mean? Like imagine if you had read Traction if it was out, but I'm sure there's very similar books like the E-Myth Revisited and some of the other ones that had you read it, in 2013, like where you could have been, you know what I mean? But it also takes I'm the same way. I'm stubborn about stuff. Like I just want to try it out and I'm test it out and try this, try that, and like I'm sure I've spent a lot of money that I could have otherwise deployed differently had I just read the book earlier. You know what I mean? But it's about sitting down and finding that right book.
It's a little bit of, like I said, it's a little bit of arrogance on my part. I've always been like, no, for me, knowledge is like, we do complex stuff, right?
Yeah.
What we do is complex, legal issues, analysis, putting pieces of information together in a nice brief, very like persuasive. And then, I was like, business. I mean, who needs to learn business?
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it turns out that business, there's a method to business, One of the biggest realizations I had was when I go like, look, you have to stop taking any case other than business litigation.
Yeah.
Like that was like, it's so counterintuitive. Like whenever we narrow, we grew.
Yeah.
That
you got to be
legally-
in that niche, right?
Yeah, we developed, now everybody knows that Ayala is business litigators.
Yeah.
People respect us for that. We are known for that. So we grew the brand on that niche. And it's something that if I was to start, or I had someone tell me, how do I start from? Okay, pick a niche. Just one,
Yeah.
Then when you become like maybe super big, maybe you can think about it. But I wouldn't do it even before 8 figures.
Yeah.
I would do it past 8 figures, like way, way, way further down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fortunate, like with my prior law firm, they were a heavy hitter, great personal injury firm, great. The leaders of the firm were great business owners, and so they instilled those values that at the time, as I was growing up through their firm, like I didn't realize that they were teaching me to become like a businessman, right? Like they were giving the right values. I didn't know the inside and out, and I hadn't read the books and hadn't run an office before, but just having like a weekly meeting that we would have at the firm, right? And it used to be on Saturday mornings. We get up, like it was a different days, right? We'd do a Saturday morning and you'd go through this agenda and you go through certain cases. You talk about next week's schedule, and you would talk about core values. I didn't realize it, but like when I left, I had those good, that those good behaviors, you know what I mean? Like that were there, and we're able to instill it or like kind of translate it into this firm, which we still do to this day. Every Friday we have a Friday meeting. We go through the agenda. We look at next week's schedule. We look at settlements. We look at the future. We talk about issues that come up, and I think it keeps us all together, And then we have those core values, which we talk about every Friday. Like you just mentioned how, it's so important to not just be thinking about growing the firm, but like personally growing, right? Like one of our core values is always growing. And one of it is that like we're going to grow and expand each year, never compromise our core values. But the other part of it is, and we talk about it every Friday, is like, is there something that you can do for yourself, right? And I'll support it. I'll do whatever, if there's a course you want to take or whatever, I'll pay for it. I want you to become better. You know what I mean? And like you said, like I never even thought about talking about sleep, but sleep is critical. Like you said, if like people are staying up until 2-3 in the morning, they're coming into the office exhausted, how can they operate? How can they get optimal work done? You know?
Yeah, I tell them, look, I don't want this to be like this Ayala thing to be like a cult, because I was part of a little bit of that, part in my other life, right? So, but it is, it is the elephant in the room. I mean, one of our values is called impactful collaboration, right? So, which also comes from my prior experience in my other law firms. We were in this little cubicle, a very short thing where, between that and a co-working space, I couldn't see the difference.
Yeah.
So you just do your work, go home. So the idea of, okay, if we all have, individually, let's say from 1 to 10, a 10 potential output, and you're 10 people and it's 100, so together we should do more than 100.
Yeah.
So it should be like a multiplication of all the talent by the collaboration. So I try to tell them that, and in that sense, personal development matters, even though your private life is your private life.
Sure.
But if you're a deadbeat, and if you're like partying until 3 a.m. in the morning and you come into this office, you're obviously not gonna meet the KPIs, the quotas, and the hours and the quality work we need. Our clients need, or what we need to do to put these cases in a position to win or to settle them for value.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that because we do retainer work, or we're incentivized to overbill. My experience, maybe it's different in big law, but my experience is like the opposite. Like when a client pays you $10,000, he wants, okay, what did you do for $10,000? How did you provide value? And when we settle those cases, we better settle it for 10 times 10.
Yeah.
A big multiplier, because otherwise, even for a 3 or 4 multiplier, they don't see it as value. Even though if they took 10 grand to Las Vegas and doubled it, they will be happy, right? But they don't see that because they assess reality based on what they lost. And it's very hard for them to forget that. When what they lost is the past, we can't change that, right?
Yeah.
So, we try to educate them. But yeah, personal development, it's, I think, an important part. And for the most part, without being invasive and getting into people's life and getting into their freedoms, try to share things that have worked with me that can potentially, make them also better.
What I want to hear about now is how do you get business? Like your marketing, because you talked about, you have core values, you have the systems, you have the KPIs, you have the team, right? That's one aspect of business, because as business owners, it's getting business into the door, right? How do we let people know this is what we do and we're really good at it and we want to help,
Mm-hmm.
So tell me some of the buckets that you use to market.
Right now, we are around a 50-50 firm, meaning 50% of our business comes to our organic clientele network, word of mouth, right? So, and around the other half comes from a combination of Google, social media, and the work we do online. Basically, we get a lot of leads online.
Got it. Okay.
So the split on that, we do have the metric, I don't remember right now, but it's probably more Google than social media. But social media is harder to track because the Google platforms, the Google ads, that's let you see what a conversion is, because you can designate what you want a conversion to be, and then you can see, and it usually tracks with the data my intake team is recording regarding conversions.
Sure.
It's not accurate, but so you can kind of tell, the business that comes from Google. So, we get around, let's say, on a given month, about 400 leads.
Okay.
And we have a signing ratio around 8%. So out of 100 leads, I sign 8.
That's a ton of leads.
It's a ton of leads. But in my business, I have to find someone that can pay.
Yeah.
Someone that has good out-of-pocket damages. We can provide value on a case that's less than 50 grand in out-of-pocket damages, right? Not what they think, hey, I was stressed, I want $1 million. No, not that. So, like, literally, they pay someone 50 grand and they lost it. If it's less than that, it's very hard for us to provide value because, the retainer could be 6, 7, 10.
Yeah. So
then we need them to have, like, some non-frivolous basis for us to file something or to present some sort of defense.
Yeah.
So we have an intake team that is 2 intake and then an intake manager that they literally know, they see the pattern, the initial, message that we get or the call, and they're able to filter that. And we have a categorization of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 being a hot lead, which means that the minute that come, some lawyer gotta jump within seconds onto that call.
Of course.
3 being, it looks like potential, let's set a consultation with the lawyer. 2, it's, looks not good, but maybe something, let them pay for a consultation if they want to speak to us.
All right. Yeah.
Right, so it's like a consultation fee. And 1 being basically automatic disengagement.
Decline,
So the team already knows the categories. There's like, we wrote procedures and sample, but basically that's been great because I'm out of intake. I only, I see what appointments I have on intake, and they usually send me probably the better leads because a lot of intakes or leads see my face online, and I want to talk to Ayala.
Yeah, they want to talk to the boss. They want to talk to the owner.
Correct. So, but it's getting less and less as we grow and we have more lawyers involved in revenue generation. So, but that's basically it, combination of online. We also do a lot of network. So I'm part of like, BNI. So that's part of that 50%. Now, this 50% part of the business tends to be higher value. So a lead that comes through my network of lawyers, or I'm part of the International Bar Association, groups that I attend tend to be more dollars versus the leads online.
Yeah, I think people like other law firm owners or people that are either starting out, they're going to open their own business. They really should understand how important like their community is to get cases, their referral lawyers, their friends, their family, their other colleagues that know them. I totally agree. Like when we look at the numbers, like there is a huge disparity between cases that we will get like from Google and pay-per-click or from local service ads that we get through Google. Sometimes you can get big cases, but the overwhelming majority of the bigger, higher value, significant cases come from the people that already know you. They like you, they trust you. And so I think it's critically important to stay in touch with those people.
Yeah, but it retrofits, right? Because the one that was referred through your network, even before he gets into the call with you, went online.
Yeah.
Right, to see your content, to see what you did.
Yeah, of course.
And then sometimes in the intake, we know we've recorded that this lead came from, from my friend Alex Soto, whatever. And the guy in the intake told me, I love your bio, right? Like, I saw your video about this, and this is what the problem that I also have. You know what I mean? Like, so
there's a connection. Yeah,
correct. I don't think, this is at least my view, I don't think you can go, okay, you have an amazing referral network and cases come through that. You can completely ignore the other side because it also solidifies and potentially seals the deal for them to sign with you, right?
1,000%. 1,000%. You have to have a clean, great website presence, because that's what people do. They go to your website. They want to see information. They want to see you. They want to read about you. They want to read about your team. They want to read about wins. I think that's critical. And that was like when I opened my own law firm, I started with one. I've gone through like over time, it's kind of like improved over time, because like you only have a certain amount of money to allocate. So like that first website is just not as strong. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a business card placeholder, not so many sub pages and things like that. And then you go to the next one but improving that and that appearance and then optimizing it, I totally agree. I mean, it's like it all works together in tandem so that the people ultimately want to give you the call and want you to represent them. But I mean, I think a lot of people, it's hard for people to find that time, especially like younger lawyers, right? And you mentioned this before, where you have like with your team, you encourage them to build their own brand within Ayala Law, right? And how do they do that, right? Because some people, that 5 o'clock hits, 5:30 hits, and they want to go home. You're in the BNI group. You're in some other group. Me, I was at a dinner the other night, and it's like, it's not easy, but there is that part of it. Like, yeah, the job is 8:30 to 5:30, right? But then there is that time you got to find to build a relationship. You know what I mean? Outside the firm. How do they do that?
So the way it's the way we've been able to get some of our lawyers to be incentivized to revenue generate and build their own portfolio. Like we have clients that don't want to talk to me. No, I want to talk to Orestes.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that.
That's amazing.
So it's been through the commission statement, commission structure, right, where they get, so the lawyers get a percentage of the case they bring from their own network, which is 20%. Then they get a percentage of the cases they signed from leads we gave them. Then they get another percentage from, because our business, it's not contingency. So basically, we have a case. What a case pays you at the beginning, it's around 30% of what the lifetime value of that case is.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So we need them to go back to the case 6 months later, 4 months later, when we've done the work and the case hasn't settled. We need to get paid again because the case hasn't settled. So then they need to collect that money. So the lawyers help us in collection, and they get a percentage of that, because in the retainer-based world, collection it's a huge issue, and it's across the board. Big law has this problem as well, at a different scale. Nobody likes to pay for time. Even the richest. I have. My clients are generally from like 1 million in revenues to 25 million in revenue, but I do have like 2 or 3 larger clients. I'm talking about like people, businesses with 500 employees, very large corporations. They're the ones that want to pay the least. Like they're saying, no, the hours should be less, and they're like, so nobody wants to pay for legal time. So collections is very important, and by giving the lawyers an incentive on the money they can acquire on collections, helps us, because the way you collect money in our business is that you gotta go to the client and tell them, okay, this is what happened with the money you paid us. This is what we've obtained so far. This is what the future looks like, and this is why we need this extra money. You need to justify basis for that, and then when you display that and when you present that, the client may want a meeting. That meeting is time.
Yeah, of course.
That you can bill. So, but you get some money by doing all that work. So, the ones that like to sell or like revenue generation, they are in other BNI groups or in the Latin Builders Associations or in the Belén community, which is a famous school, high school in Miami. So because they like to do that. You have other lawyers that are more like grinders, right?
Yeah.
They like to make money by the billable hour and grind. So I don't force anybody that doesn't want to sell because it's not natural to them.
Sure, of course.
But we do have that structure that's helping us, and it's working so far.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen tremendous growth over the past several years.
We just made. So we have 4 law clerks, and we made offers to 3 of them to become lawyers at the firm. So starting in September 2026, when they passed the bar, and all 3 accepted. So now we are like, okay, so me and my partner is like, okay, so we are 7. We're going to have 3 more in September. We're 10. So we need work for these 3. So we're like working on developing the case portfolio for when these guys come. They have cases, and we're investing a lot in advertising and things like that.
Yeah. And how important have you seen, at least in this past 3 years or so, like how important it is to reinvest in the business? Because it's easy to kind of, take profit, run. I think reinvesting is critical, right?
100%. I tend to be a spender.
Yeah.
Like I want to spend in the business. I want to remodel this office. I want to let's double the Google budget, right? I tend to be like that. My partner more like more conservative. Like no. So now we have a rule that we go like, hey, look, we also have to run a profitable operation. We're too big now, and we've say like, okay, if we're not over the 20% profit line. So we're not investing, and we're gonna cut expense. So anything after 20%, we can distribute, we can pay people more, or we can invest in the business. But we're trying to keep at a minimum, as a minimum baseline, 20% profit margins. I think it's healthy, for a business to have at least that minimum, because before I wasn't that, systematic or more conscious of that, and I was basically go by my bank account, and I thought I had money, and I wasn't making money.
Yeah.
So now we are very, very on top of that, because if your margins are less than that, I mean, number one, you could make as much money without doing anything in the stock market, right?
Yeah.
And second, the fluctuations are big. So if you're running like those too tight margins, you could literally lose a lot of money in a given month or even a quarter.
Yeah.
So I think 20 plus, ideally 25 is a good margin to keep.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's other books out there too. Like, I don't know if you read, there's a book called Profit First too, which was, I thought was
I read
very,
it. I read it.
That idea, like, it is a great concept. And I mean, some of these books, they could be dense, you know what I mean? It's like a long read. I'm not a big read. You're a big reader. When it comes to reading, it's like, some of this stuff is, it's like, I wish I can get like the short version of it. Like, what's the key point? You know what I mean? Like, the key point of Profit First to me was, it's like, listen, if you're bringing in business and you're generating revenue, like, pay yourself like first, pay yourself some, but and then you're going to be able to kind of govern yourself. At least you're making some money for yourself, and then you're able to govern how you're going to deploy the rest. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, you're going to be deploying the rest. It's going to be gone, and you're not going to be paying yourself. And the idea of running a business, obviously, is you're helping people. You're providing the service. You're also making a living, you know what I mean? And you don't want to end up, I guess, working for the business and the business isn't working for you, you know?
Yeah, no, I like the idea of profit first. It's sort of like forcing yourself to make profits because you're taking it at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
You're apportioning, I don't know, what is it, 10%, 15%, 20%, you're taking, and then you better make, in excess of that, right? So I like the idea. What we do at the firm is, I think we try to keep a minimum cash on hand, which is around 6 or 9 times payroll.
Yeah.
And then if it goes up, we distribute or we invest. If it goes down, we go like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Why is
it could be scary?
Why is it going down? Are we spending too much? Are we not getting enough? The revenue is not keeping pace, and it keeps us very that threshold keeps us very aware and alert of the money, because like I said, I think at the end, a healthy business has to make profits.
Yeah.
A healthy business has to make profits on or about that mark, at least in our business model of 20% plus, because if you're not there, I mean, very soon you could be out of business very, very, very fast. I mean, how much savings would it take for you to survive making zero profits for 6 months? I mean, I don't know how many people can, very quick you'll be out of business if you don't have. We even started using lines of credit, because it's almost like, since we're not in the contingency business, right? We go like, why should we use line of credit? I mean, the business should self-finance.
Yeah. You could pay the interest as it pays back. Yeah.
Right. So we use it a little bit, keep it at a minimum, because it helps your credit worthiness. But for the most part, we the cash, because remember, we get paid up front.
Yep.
The reverse of what you do, right? So there's no reason whatsoever that we should need any financing. If we're needing financing, we're probably not doing the math well, or not doing good accounting.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to the stage where I've felt the need to get lines of credit. Just for me, I know there's some firms that they take a line of credit on their costs. They take a line of credit to pay payroll and stuff. Fortunately, it just hasn't been a place. I'm not opposed to it, because I think the idea of leveraging good debt is okay. But just for me, for right now. But I think there is a point where you're at a level of growth where it's okay to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, listen, the whatever it is you're doing, it's working. You know what I mean? Right? Because you got 3 law clerks you're hiring, you're bringing them on. And have you noticed that and I've noticed this myself, but have you noticed that it's worth it for a period of time to make less by hiring more people to get the job done, so that you can kind of extract yourself and focus on other things? And then do you see that revenue ends up increasing? Like, you're adding 3 people, which means you're paying a lot more money is coming out of pocket to pay for salaries and payroll, like you said. But there must be a reason you're doing that.
Yeah, we think we know exactly how many cases we're signing week over week.
Yeah,
litigation cases. So we know that we're gonna be a little tight early. So in Q3, early July, maybe the end of Q2, June, we're gonna be, short on capacity, right?
On people, on
On
staffing.
people, yeah, on the back end that I call. So this is for the first time in the firm, we have the ability to get business right through the door.
Yeah.
And the problem we were having is talent.
Yeah.
So we would laterally hire, and then like they were not good.
Yeah.
Because what we do, it's I tell my team or people, we don't sell Toyotas. We sell your BMW 3 Series,
Yeah.
your Audi A4. Like we don't sell Lamborghinis either, right?
Yeah.
That's like big law or whatever.
Yeah.
So we do sell a little bit of above average product for a probably average price or only a little average price over average. And we do need talent. We do need good brains. We need people that get the litigation language. Some people don't get it.
Yeah.
So we were having a problem bringing talent. We use recruiters, to whom we pay a fortune.
Yeah, of
They
course.
charge
Yeah.
a fortune. So, and then we were having turnaround. So we go like, you know what? We have to recruit in house.
Yeah.
And we go like, this is a good investment. These 3 kids are good. They already know how we work. They've been with us for 2 or 3 semesters already.
Yeah, that's great.
And one of them, or almost all of them, by the time they are like, let's say, before they leave in May, they're almost like lawyers.
Yeah.
So their writing is like at high quality, the way we like it, and at the speed we like them to be, with the right arguments and creativity and persuasion. So we think that all the way through them, we're gonna sign enough cases. Maybe we're gonna be a little tight. Someone's gonna have to work a little extra hours, but we know that the talent is coming. We also can balance the timings in litigation, because you can file a complaint and then it's like 6 weeks
Takes time.
until so you get a break there. So it's but I think it's a great investment, because these 3 kids are fantastic, and talent is scarce. So
Yeah.
we can't let them go, basically.
Yeah, we did the same thing. We had a law clerk. He worked with us for like over a year, and through last summer and then this summer, or the past summer. So 2024, he was there right through kind of 2025 summer, and we made him an offer to come back and after he passed the bar, and he knows how we work. He knows the cases we handle. He'll be kind of ready to hit the ground running. There's going to be some level of training that has to come after. You know what I mean? Like there is like the beginning, but I think there's also that level of what's the word? I don't want to say fearlessness, but like this passion that they're becoming a lawyer, right? Like that brand new lawyer who gets their bar card and gets sworn in. They're fired up to do a good job. You know what I mean? Like they want to come in. It's different than hiring someone that may be 10 years out, or, who's kind of been around and like they may be burnt out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having that person that's fired up about and excited about becoming a lawyer I remember how I was, like that was a great moment to get the card and get sworn in. And I was a prosecutor at the time, so I was in court all day, every day, trying cases and stuff. But that's awesome, man. Where do you see Ayala Law Firm in the next 5 years? What are we talking about?
So we're trying to, so in the next 5 years, I mean, there's some numbers, because that's the only way we keep the score, right?
Well, we don't have to go to numbers, but it's just as far as, it's going to continue to grow, or do you want to cap at like a certain number of lawyers? What does it look like?
So
that?
we have a building where we can fit up to probably 20 lawyers.
Wow.
So I have tenants right now, in the building has 5 floors, and so hopefully my tenants are not listening.
Yeah.
But at one point, I'm gonna need the space they rent.
Sure.
So that's an entire floor. So the space that we occupy right now probably can fit 10 more people. So we're 18, around 28. So we can probably fit around 35 people in that building. So which means around 18 to 20 lawyers and the same support staff. We think like in 4 or 5 years we can get to that, because the brand is very strong right now.
Yeah.
I love what I see in terms of the feedback I get on the brand. I go to my meetings and to my network events, and I know your firm, and then the consumers that come to us, the feedback we get from them, it's awesome. So the brand is very strong, even with judges, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's good.
judges know the firm. You go through many hearings with the same judges, so it's good that they know you. They know you bring good arguments, solid legal work. So I think we can do it in that time span, and then after that, we have to reassess, whether we stay like that or we go maybe multiple location, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
at one point, I mean, the physical space is the physical space. So,
Sure. Yeah.
So
No one
I mean,
works remote. No one works remote.
We do have 2 employees
Yeah.
remotely in Colombia.
Yeah.
I love them. They work great.
Yeah.
And we are adding one more. For the first time, letting go a little bit, and I'm hiring an executive assistant.
Oh, good for
because
you.
Basically, I have, I'm too jammed on terms of like my events, calendaring, emails, and so I'm hiring an executive assistant over there in Colombia. And yeah, it's been great. We work with a company that finds us very good talent over there.
The book that you read for hiring the executive assistant, was that Buy Back Your Time? Did you read that one yet?
I did read Buy Back Your Time. Is an amazing book.
That is a good one.
I did the time audit,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do the work. I think I listened to Buy Back Your Time at the gym, and I was like, the one thing I was like, get an executive assistant. You know?
No,
That's pretty cool. You did the time audit.
When I'm younger lawyers or people that have practices that they want to expand and they reach out to me, I tell them, look, traction and buy back your time.
Yeah.
The buy back your time is key because it gets you, it persuades you like, look, you got 2,000 hours in a year,
Yeah.
right? What's your output? Then make the division. And then what is your rate? Like $200? Okay. So if someone can do that for 15, you are with, it's about breaking that psychological blockage of letting go,
Yeah.
right? So now I delegate everything. I mean, for the first time in my life, now I'm gonna even delegate my emails, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Buy Back Your Time is awesome. It's a great book.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm excited for you, man. It was a pleasure to have you on the podcast to talk to you about your business and stuff. It sounds like it's doing great and sounds like it's going to continue to grow and expand. And again, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really follow your work here. It's great what you guys do. And, thank you for the invite. It was great talking to you.
All right. So before we end, because I don't think I've been asked, but tell us your name and then how people can get in touch with your law firm.
My name is Eduardo Ayala Maura. I'm the founding partner at Ayala Law PA. We do business litigation. You can contact us via phone at our office at 305-570-2208. You can also email me directly at eduardo@ayalalawpa.com. Our website is lawayala.com. Follow us in social media. Same thing, Law Ayala. So business litigation in Miami.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man.
All right.
That was fun.